Oh, there we go. All right. I really need a computer. I sent out some alerts. We'll see if anybody shows up. I hope so, because there's some stuff I want to talk about. Hello. Yeah, I know my hair's gotten stupid long. It's longer in the back. You're here? Nice. So, hey. So there's a lot, thank you. There's a live going on right now. YouTube notified? Yay. There's a live going on right now that is really irritating me. And there was a live the other day that really irritated me. And so here I am about to be irritated on a live. So, hey, thanks. It's being fuzzy. Hey. So, okay, so there's a live going on right now. I'm not going to name the creator. Up to not seen me in months. Um, I've only been live once this month, to be fair. Um, you couldn't find the YouTube. It just started, so um, there's a live going on right now, and I'm not going to point you guys to it because that would not serve my purpose. Um, but there's some things going on in this live, and if you're on here, you may know what live I'm talking about. But recently there has been people talking about the fact that Gypsy's off parole. And by the way, let me just preface this with I am not pro Gypsy. This is not about being pro Gypsy. This is about being pro Dee Dee. This is about just human decency as a whole. Thanks. Um, there are people talking about right now on a live that they are going to print out flyers and walk around LA and hand them out to places and bars so that Gypsy can't go to bars. And they, for some reason, think that they're not going to have some type of a ramification for this. Number one, a bar's going to be pissed off that you're trying to deflect its business, for number one. Okay. Thanks, Starwink. Um, Number two, that is just bona fide harassment at that point. Okay. I don't know where you think that number one, I don't know why you'd be stupid enough to spend money and spend your time walking around a city handing out flyers of somebody who is already infamous and people already know what she looks like. And I hear them saying, oh, we got to make sure to get an up-to-date picture so people know what Gypsy looks like. Number one. Number two, to go around and hand out flyers and put them on poles and give them to bars. A bar's not going to turn away service. Okay, I don't know where you think that this is going to work, but a bar's not going to turn away a paying patron. Um, so I don't know what Delulu thing you got going on there, but yeah. But the biggest thing that is irritating me, yeah, exactly. Like you're going to ask a business not allow somebody. Like what? But the thing that it really is grinding my gears right now, the reason why I'm on live, the reason I just put up a video is I have heard two different lives now where people are talking about dressing up like Barney, getting in a Barney outfit and walking around Louisiana as a fuck you to Gypsy. Let me tell you why that is the most disrespectful thing I've ever heard of. Do I understand the sentiment of she put a Barney at the crime scene and it's a fuck you to her? Yes, I understand that sentiment. What I also understand is if you're going to speak out one side of your mouth about being pro Dee Dee and speak out the other side of your mouth with I'm going to dress up in something that was at this person's crime scene, you are not pro Dee Dee. I look familiar. I think I go to the gym you work at. I do go to Planet Fitness. I do go to Planet Fitness. Um, hey everybody. Um, I'm also sick, so I'm gonna be coughing on off. If you were going to speak out one side of your mouth and say that you are pro Dee Dee, and then talk about dressing up in a fucking Barney costume and Oh, hi. And then dress up in a Barney costume, you are not pro anything. You're not pro anything other than trying to shove into somebody's face something. It's disrespectful as fucking get out. And I don't know why people are not hearing this. Like I've seen two different lives now, and people laughing and joking and thinking it's so funny that people are going to dress up in a Barney outfit. Um if let me just run a scenario by you. Let me just run this scenario by you. Your aunt is callously unalived, okay? And they left a Raiders jacket at the crime scene, okay? The person who is responsible for your family member's demise has been let out of prison and they're currently off parole. You live in the same town and you go downtown on a Friday night to have some fun, and you see a pack of people wearing Raider jackets passing out flyers pretending to give justice to your aunt while you are watching them wear Raiders jackets that were at the crime scene. How is that going to make you feel? Is that going to make you feel like your aunt is getting justice? Or is that going to feel like a fuck you to the face? Because to me, it's going to feel like a fuck you to the face. I don't see where doing something like that is going to be active in any way, shape, or form of not an absolute fuck you to the people. There are people that this affects. There are people that know Dee Dee. There are people that are hearing about this that are family with Dee Dee, friends with Dee Dee, people that are pro Dee Dee like myself. And I can tell you that if I was visiting down in Louisiana and I saw somebody wandering around in a Barney costume, the first thing I'm going to do is walk up to them and ask them what the fuck they are doing. This isn't funny. This isn't cute. This gives the same energy as the people who were having a Dee Dee rally, which by the way, what's going on with that? What's going on with the Pro Dee Dee rally? And you know the funny part about the Pro Dee Dee rally? They said it had nothing to do with Gypsy, but yet it was on Gypsy's birthday. We never had the rally, weirdly. Shocker. And while it had nothing to do with Gypsy, they were going to have Dee Dee's rally on Gypsy's birthday. Because again, it's not about Dee Dee. It is about the fuck you to Gypsy. Hello. Hi, Irene. Hey, Carissa. If you're going to be pro a situation, be pro a situation. Dressing up in a Barney outfit is not a pro anything. It's a fuck you to the person who has lost their life. Also, I want to touch on something else that I just heard. I'm not going to name the person who did it, but I'm very, very frustrated with what somebody just mentioned to me, and there is a video clip of it. And if you happen to see it, you happen to see it. I'm not going to say who said it, but I'm very frustrated at somebody who put out there that people who are on methadone are active rug users. People who are on methadone, Suboxone, things like that are trying to get away from the crippling addiction that they have with other substances that are harsher and more damaging. And hey, Pink. And I don't think it is accurate or okay or acceptable to shame somebody for trying to get away from that life. Thanks, Audra. I don't think that's okay. If somebody's trying to, thank you. If someone is trying to beat an addiction and is doing it in a way that is taking another substance, that doesn't give you the right to put that person down. I have never been addicted to a substance. I've been addicted to other things. Um, and I know that I wouldn't like if somebody came online and was putting me down for trying to better my life. Thank you. That's pretty. Um, I don't think that's okay and I don't think that's acceptable. I do realize by having this live, I am probably starting a shitstorm. I am very well aware of that. I am very well aware of the fact that I'm going to have blowback from this live. Thank you. I appreciate you. Um, I don't think it's okay and I don't think it's acceptable. And I haven't been live in a while. Yeah, methadone is also used for pain management. Um, well, Audra, people have those problems differently. Um, Thank you guys. I'm on this live right now. I know I've told you guys I've been wanting to go live more often, and today I guess was that day. As you guys know, I'm very connected to the Gypsy case, and not in the way that you guys are thinking, being friends with Christy at one point, things like that. I'm not talking about being attached in that case. You guys, if you know me, you know that I am very, very, very pro Dee Dee because of the fact that my daughter also wanted me unalived and went to jail for wanting to unalive me and was very pulled the same stuff that Gypsy did, was saying that Dee Dee was an abuser. She tried to say I was an abuser. She went to jail for wanting me unalived, and I have always been very pro Dee Dee. And to hear people right now that are thinking, I've literally watched people laugh talking about this Barney outfit, and all I can think about for me is if I had been unalived, would people be wearing something at my crime scene? Because that's all I can think about. Hey, um, I was lucky that I didn't end up Dee Dee. I was lucky enough that I got my abuser put behind bars before I was able to have my life taken. Um, and just to know that I could be the discussion of a true crime content creator, and to have people say that they're going to dress up at something from my crime scene is frustrating. It's upsetting. It's hurtful. And I don't think that these people that are on a live, possibly still currently right now, I know they were live when I went live. I don't know if they're thinking about that. I don't know if they're thinking about the fact of the ramifications of what it is that they're saying they want to do to get back at Gypsy, because it's not just going to get back at Gypsy. It is literally pissing on Dee Dee. There's a live going on, or was going on, that was talking about they were going to print out flyers and put them, go around to bars, put them on poles, hand them out to people to make sure that Gypsy wasn't going into bars. And first of all, a business is going to have you removed, just FYI. It's still going on. Okay. A business is going to call the police on you for disrupting their business. So let's just get that started. If these people show up with these flyers, they're going to have the police called on them for disrupting business, for disrupting the peace. So I would love to see them actually attempt to do this. I would love to see them spend their money. I would love to see them get hauled away for harassment and disturbing the peace of people in the area trying to enjoy an establishment. But more than that, while they are talking about putting out flyers and handing out these flyers, they're talking about dressing up in a Barney outfit, and as yet another slap to Gypsy, which again, I am not pro Gypsy. I'm very anti Gypsy. I'm very anti Gypsy because of what happened to me. The Barney outfit is a line that is absolutely crossed. Yes, going out as Barney is idiotic. I do think it's clout chasing, just like they were trying to do a Dee Dee rally on Gypsy's birthday. They say it's about Dee Dee, but it's never about Dee Dee. I'm watching all these content creators speak out one side of their mouth about being pro Dee Dee while doing very anti Dee Dee things. And it's very frustrating. Again, putting myself into the mix, and which is why I'm here, which is why I'm agitated, which is why I'm frustrated. If this was me, if you guys were discussing my true crime case while wearing something from my crime scene or talking about something from my crime scene, that would be a very disrespectful thing to do to a person who was deceased. I don't think that's okay, and I don't think it's acceptable. And apparently, what I guess they're going down on Bourbon Street, I guess, because Gypsy's being paroled or was paroled. They're talking about going down on Bourbon Street, passing out these flyers, and possibly wearing a Barney outfit. I hope that if they do this, I hope that the establishment calls on them. I hope that they are arrested. I hope that they garner some type of empathy, some type of sympathy for the victim. Thank you, Brianna. I was purposely not saying where the live was. I don't want to bring any more attention to their live. They're trying to get a digital billboard. Are you so for real right now? They're trying to get a digital billboard. For what? For what? For why? To not go to the bars? Like, look. Again, because I feel like I have to keep reiterating this because people are going to be like, oh, you flopped. You're pro gypsy. I'm not pro gypsy. I'm not pro gypsy. I'm very anti gypsy. But this is bordering on insanity. This is bordering on absolute insanity. At this point, you're not just hurting gypsy. You are trying to hurt an establishment, numerous establishments. You are trying to take business away from establishments because not only is it going to keep gypsy out, which it's not, let's be realistic. Not only is it going to keep gypsy out, it's going to push away other potential customers. So what you are doing yet again is damaging other businesses' profit margin by calling and saying, oh my God, you waited on Gypsy. When Sir Morbid and Starlight were calling and harassing businesses that dared to wait on Gypsy. When you guys are calling and harassing hostesses, when you guys are passing out flyers so that these establishments don't get profits. Thank you, Cynthia. It's too much. You're not just hurting or affecting Gypsy. You are hurting and affecting established businesses. You are hurting people's profit margins. You are not putting food on people's tables. Do you understand? You are fucking with people's income. It's not okay. And then when all of this goes on, it gives credence to Gypsy. When Gypsy's talking about these creators that are going after her, it is helping her. It is helping her because it looks like you guys are harassing and stalking because you are. You are. Okay? You are giving her all of the reason to say the things she's saying. Because at this point, it is harassment. It is not just harassment of Gypsy. It is harassment of establishments. It is harassment of the public. It is harassment of the people around her. And it is disrespectful to Dee Dee's memory. Period. You are harassing businesses. You are not just hurting Gypsy. You are hurting businesses. This is not okay. It's not. And now apparently they're trying to get a billboard. They're trying to get a billboard up. Like, can you come up to say something? Sure. Go ahead. Come on up. Go ahead and request. It's not enough to hand out flyers. It's not enough to put flyers up on poles. It's not enough to dress up in a Barney outfit. It's not enough to stand in front of establishments and take their profit margin away, that now you're also going to put up a billboard. Like, are you so serious right now?
Hello.
Hey.
Anyways, no, I just wanted to come up here because, yeah, you're entirely right. And, yeah, it is harassment at this point. She does have a valid point. It is harassment at this point. And also, they're giving her exactly what they don't want her to have. All of those people are saying, don't watch Gypsy's channel. Don't give her the views. And count how many of them all together are going and watching her videos and recording them to post them on their channels. Like there's at least 150 of them doing the same thing, going and watching her video, recording it for others, and then playing it like that. Like, you guys are giving her the literal views that you're telling people not to give her, and then you're crying about her still being on TikTok and her still getting views. You guys are giving them to her. You guys keep recording her videos, multiple people recording them and reposting them. It's just giving her what she wants, which you guys don't want her to have.
You're giving her the platform you don't want her to have. Absolutely.
Exactly. That's exactly what they're doing.
There's so many other cases that should be highlighted, that money should be going to, that awareness should be going to. Instead of raising $2,100 for a billboard to keep someone out of an establishment to hurt someone's pocket, why don't we raise that kind of money to find out about different cases? Why don't we try to stop the guy who, like somebody brought up to me, the guy who took the lives of his 3 children and put bags around their heads? Why are we not highlighting that? Why are we not highlighting things that matter? Why are we not highlighting things that there could be change? There could be things talked about, instead of paying money to put up a billboard to take the profit margin out of someone's pocket. There's so many other things we could be doing. Yeah, I mean, you could be putting up a billboard looking for Sebastian.
Michaela Raines?
Right.
On here who did the fox rescue?
Right.
She was 29 years old.
And she was bullied.
Bullied and harassed by people in her comments and on Reddit. And she took her own life.
And that's what it's going to boil down to one of these days. I have been if you guys know me, you guys know that I had a subset of people that was putting out malicious rumors about my husband, malicious rumors about me. And if I was not on the right dose of medications, if I didn't have the right support group, if I didn't have a higher sense of being, that could have been me. That, when people are putting out horrible things, one of these days it's going to push somebody over the edge. And who are you gonna blame? Are you going to blame that person, or are you going to blame the people that caused it? Oh, yeah, I take a mood stabilizer. I take an antipsychotic. I take an antidepressant. I take all of it. Take an anti-anxiety. I take anti-everything.
And also, I just want to add is, how has anything that they have done since they started have anything to do with Justice for Dee Dee, when all they do is sit on the panel and make fun of the way Gypsy looks, make fun of her medical condition, call her redacted? What does that have to do with Justice for Dee Dee? Calling businesses that Gypsy goes in and says she shouldn't be allowed there. Like, what does that have to do with Justice for Dee Dee?
The one that gets me the most, I gotta say, other than the Barney outfit, is the rally for Dee Dee that they were going to put on Gypsy's birthday. What was that going to do?
Yeah.
What was that going to do?
They specifically planned it for that day and said, we didn't know it was Gypsy's
birthday. Okay, here's another thing. We had how many creators? We had 2 or 3 different subsets of creators that were arguing and wanting this Nick rally. They all wanted a Nick rally. Where did the Nick rally go? Did it not garner up enough clicks and views? Because it didn't happen. It never happened. Not that I think it should happen. I am against it happening. But we had subsets of people that were talking about wanting to have this rally. Where did the rally go? Where did the rally for Dee Dee go? Where did the things that matter go? Yeah, Nick didn't run the rally. I'm against the rally personally. But where did it go? Where did all this stuff go?
Their Justice for Nick is a lie, because multiple people of them have said they don't even support Justice for Nick. Corbett said last night on his live that he only supports justice for the only victim in this crime, and that's Dee Dee. He doesn't support justice for Nick.
Same. I used to be pro Nick,
Sure when
but
it started,
now I know
it was
more.
justice for Nick and Dee Dee.
Now that I know more, now that I sat down and realized about the emails that I put out, that I was blasted for putting out the emails, I've realized that, you know, a lot of people want to put on Nick that, you know, he was autistic and he was manipulated. In the end, he was a grown man who made grown choices. In the end, he made the comment that he thought about it and he went through with it. Okay, there's plenty of people in this chat alone that are autistic. And I'm pretty sure that a lot of us, if somebody brought to us, hey, can you take somebody's life? We would say no. It does not make us stupid. It does not make us incompetent. You can manipulate somebody to a point. In the end, they are going to make their own decisions. He knew what he was doing, period. 1,000% Flower. He knew right from wrong. He made the decision to do it. And to say anything other than that is absolute fallacy. Period. You're too lazy to do it.
And I mean, if you want to be real technical, both him and Gypsy were both failed in the mental health area. Both of them probably could have used mental health growing up, and both of them were probably denied it because their parents didn't believe in that, or, you know, whatever the case might have been. They were both failed by the mental health system.
Right. You know, but in the end, I don't see where any of this is going to be, where any of this is, what you're not bringing attention to it. I mean, what is the Barney outfit supposed to bring attention to the situation? Because there's so many other ways, so many better, more positive ways you can bring attention to a situation other than trying to ruin someone's income and make a mockery of a person's demise. I don't think either of those things are okay. I don't think trying to push people away from an establishment or desecrating somebody's memory is the way to go about. If you want change, that's not the way to do it. Yeah, you know what? And that's a, you know, Erica, I said that too. For the people who are pro Nick and pro let's get him out and pro he served his time, would you let him stay with you? Would you halfway house him? Would you let him stay in your house with your children? No, you wouldn't. You want to cry and scream from the trenches about how he deserves to be out, but you only care about him being out because Gypsy's out. If Gypsy was out, you guys would say that they were both where they belonged and both where they needed to be. And instead, because Gypsy's out, Nick should be out. No, in my opinion, they should both still be in. They both took a life.
They're acting like Gypsy got to choose. She just got to choose how much time she spent for her crime. Like the justice system didn't decide that for her. Like anybody in any type of situation like that, you would have taken that plea deal too, had you been given the chance. And it's not like everyone's acting like they're mad. They're mad at Gypsy because she got out. Like they're mad at her. It's not her fault. It's the justice system. Be mad at the justice system. Go talk to the justice system about all your problems.
Absolutely.
Making fun of Gypsy online is not helping you get justice for anything.
It's not. It's not. You know, Nick was offered different plea deals. He was. Thank you, Quad. He was offered different plea deals and he didn't take them. He was offered one where he would have a chance at parole. He did not take it. He wanted to roll his dice, take his chances. And that's okay. That's respectable. If you know, you feel adamant about a thing and you're like, I'm going to roll my dice and take my chances. But unfortunately, you play big boy games, you get big boy prizes, and it did not work out in his favor. I don't agree with her being out in any way, shape, or form, but I definitely don't agree with him being out. I do not agree with him being out at all. And for anybody who's going to sit here and say, oh, you know, he should be out. Gypsy's out. He should be out. Let him stay in your guest room. Let him stay in your guest room and leave your bedroom door unlocked. Leave your children's door unlocked. Because if you can do that, then you can say, let him out. Until then, no. Hold on. Can you speak on people saying Dee Dee was dead when Nick got there? No, because I partially kind of sometimes believe that. So I'm not going to talk about that. This isn't about what happened at the crime scene. This is about after the fact, and the fact that people are not honoring a memory the way they say. If you're going to sit here and get online and content create and say that you're pro Dee Dee, you're anti Gypsy, and then do things that are going to desecrate Dee Dee's memory, you are not pro Dee Dee. You're anti Gypsy, but you're not pro Dee Dee. Period. You're just not.
And they keep acting like all of these like all of the documents that they're getting from the FOIAs are things that have never been seen before. Do they not realize that the court system has already seen all of that? That's why it's being released. Like, the court system has seen it and they did nothing with it. So, like, you guys reading and paying $2,000 for documents is going to do nothing. It's doing nothing but wasting your money and your time on someone that you hate.
Yeah, I don't
Just
quite
so you can make fun of her more.
Right. I don't quite understand that concept of multiple people getting FOIA-ing these requests. And, the reason why these FOIAs are available is because they were put into evidence. They were put into evidence and they were looked at, they were considered, and apparently was not considered enough to have made a difference, unfortunately. I know that he said he has information he will never tell on Gypsy, and that's his own stupid fault, in my opinion. I will tell you right now, if somebody coerced me into taking a life and I'm sitting in jail for the rest of my life and they're out gallivanting around, I'm not going to take it to my grave. I'm going to scream from the freaking rooftops. And that's his own fault for not saying anything. Thank you, Lenny. I appreciate you. Yeah, let them waste their money. I mean, if you want to do that and you want to sit on a live and read these documents that in the end didn't mean anything, I mean, that's on you.
Yeah, but like they're asking all of their followers for donations and shit. Like, it's because they think that they can get Gypsy put back in jail with all of the stuff that the court has already seen. Like what?
Right. And the fact is, if you want all this stuff, if you want to FOIA all this stuff, if you want to put out flyers, if you want to buy billboards, don't ask people to help you. Do it yourself.
Exactly.
If you're feeling that froggy about something, then you can do it. Harassing the parole officer. If you are going to the parole officer with a valid reason, that's one thing. But I don't think that, I think a lot of it is definitely people that are just wanting to start shit, essentially. But now that she's off parole, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. You say that, but it does matter to them. Like, for real, I just don't get it, because I don't understand how they think that any of these documents and stuff that they're reading is going to get her put back whenever the court has already seen everything.
Could she be federally prosecuted? Anybody can be federally prosecuted, but the deal is, it's been 10 years. If she was going to be federally prosecuted, it would have happened by now. It would have happened when she was paroled. The feds would have taken over and decided, okay, you know what? She's out on state. We're going to get her federally. They're not going to wait 2, 3, 4 years to federally prosecute a case that happened 10 plus years ago, or that somebody got off parole 2 years ago.
Yeah, like, they're not just going to be like, oh, she's off parole now. Now we can get her federally. Like, they're not going to do that. That just sounds ridiculous.
I mean, could she be? Yes, she sent a weapon over state lines. That right there is cause for federal. But for whatever reason, they did not decide to pursue her federally. And if they did not pursue her federally in 2015, they did not pursue her federally at the end of 2023. They are not going to pursue her federally in 2025 or 2026. They're just not. That's just common sense. And no amount of reading a document on TikTok is going to change that.
And paying $700 for 4 hours of a digital billboard is not going to help anything either. Like,
there's so many other cases that could be highlighted. There's so many cases that could be brought to light that have never been brought to light, or that need to be talked about, or that are not talked about. And I just don't understand why we're not talking about those cases. I mean, even if it's an older case, there's cases we're beating Gypsy to death after 10 years. Why can't we beat a different case to death after 10 years? Why can't we highlight other victims? Why can't we talk about those?
Because all of those people who claim to be true crime only got into true crime to do the Gypsy Rose case. And that's it.
And that could very well be. I mean, I personally have been into true crime since 1999. I've been through a ton of different cases. And in the end, what I can't understand, and I'm going to try to say this as diplomatic as possible. What I can't understand at this point is people that are having lives, and this is multiple creators. This isn't just one creator before you think, when you go, oh, ring a bell, this is who I'm talking about. No, this is multiple creators. I will go through my FYP and it's, a multitude of creators that are talking and beating this case to death with the same facts, the same evidence, the same stories, the same theories, and they are beating it to death within an inch of its life. And I just don't understand at this point how people are even going into these lives and not being bored to tears. I don't understand how you haven't heard the same thing 50 fucking times, why you're listening to it yet again. Yeah, I mean, is Nina still dragging it out? I don't know. She has me blocked after I called her a bully.
She is.
She blocked me a long time ago after I called her a bully.
Yeah, she's still on the, you manipulated a man with a low IQ and blah, blah, blah.
That's so, you know what? I'm going to say something. That is so demeaning to Nick as a person. Basically, when people are saying you manipulated, you took advantage of, you coerced this man into it, you are literally saying that Nick is dumber than a fucking $2 bill. That he is not smart enough to make his own decisions, that he's not smart enough to know right from wrong, that he's not smart enough to know what was going on around him. You are basically infantilizing him and saying that he is too stupid to exist. You are being very ableist in the autism mindset. I'm sorry. I know tons of autistic people. I'm on the spectrum myself. And I can tell you with every fiber of my being, if somebody came to me with a horrible sob story and asked me to take a life, I would tell them no. I would tell them no. So why are you trying to use autism as a get out of jail free card? He did what he did. He made that decision. Nobody made it for him. One thing I learned in therapy, by the way, y'all are going to get a therapy lesson right now. One thing I learned in therapy is if somebody doesn't want to do something, they're not going to do it. Have you ever argued with your spouse and you're like, I deserve an apology? And they will do one of two things. I don't owe you shit. Or, you know what? Whatever. I'm sorry. But guess what? That whatever I'm sorry did not have to happen if they chose not to do it. You choose what to do. And if you don't want to do something, you're not going to do it. There's no amount of money that is going to make me take a life. There's no sob story that is going to make me take a life. You are not going to be able to manipulate me, coerce me, or pay me to do something like that because it is who I am intricately in my being. He chose to do what he chose to do. There is no manipulation, coercion, or blaming it on autism, period. So stop being ableistic to this. Stop saying, well, you know what? It's almost like, oh God, it's almost like reverse ableism. Like you're using it as a cop-out. It's not a cop-out, period. Yes. Why do people think that people with autism are slow? It's a spectrum and they are very intelligent. Most people with autism are very intelligent.
Yes, they are. A lot of them are very, very intelligent in their own, in specific things. Like, like they like one thing and they will know everything about that one thing. Like they hyperfixate. They're smart.
Yes, Nick was able to hold a job. He was able to get on a bus. He was able to go somewhere on his own accord. He was able to go to the hotel. He was able to go get a cab to go to Dee Dee's. He was able to do everything along the way. He chose to do it, period. And to sit here and say that he was coerced and manipulated because he was autistic is fucking, it's infantilizing him. And it's
He did it
irritating.
because he wanted to do it for Gypsy.
Exactly.
He did it because he wanted to.
He did it because he wanted to, period. Period. You could not pay me, coerce me. You could not nothing me. Taking a life is wrong. He said that. There was an angel on one shoulder and there was a devil on the other, and the devil won. That is a choice. That is a choice. He chose to do it. You cannot make somebody do something that they are not willing to do. You can't. If you will tell your child, you know what, we need to pick up your toys. Your child is going to do one of two things. No. Or they're going to pick up their toys. They're going to choose to pick up their toys. Period. You can't make people do things they don't want to do unless you have an actual to the head, which she did not have.
No, he chose to do that because he wanted to do it for her. He wanted to do it. That's all there is to it. Like, he chose to do it for her. He wanted to do it for her.
So, you can sit here and blame people all day long, but in the end, it's the person who decided to do it. Low IQ individuals can lead full lives. Yeah, okay, so here's an example. So my daughter, the one who wanted me unalive that I put in jail, she has a very low IQ. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's very low to the point of needing help. She made the decision to want me unalived. She made that decision. As a low IQ individual, she made that decision on her own. Okay? She decided she was going to do what Gypsy did to Dee Dee, and she made that decision. Low IQ functioning individuals still function at a point. To point it out to you without giving you her exact number, Nick's IQ is exponentially higher than hers is. How did I catch her? Her therapist told me. She confessed to her therapist, and her therapist told me, and then she admitted it to the mental hospital that she was 5152. Nick's IQ is exponentially higher than my daughter's. She decided to do it. Why can't he? 82 is not that low. An average IQ is mid-90s. He's not even that low, y'all. Where is she now? She's in a homeless shelter where she's been for 2 years. She's not allowed to contact me officially until part of her parole is she is not allowed to contact me until July 21st of this year. She wasn't allowed to contact me for 2 years. And she served her time in jail. She is on probation, and she is not allowed to speak to me in any way, shape, or form for 2 years. And she's in a homeless shelter in New York because no homeless shelter in Kentucky would take her due to her having the domestic terroristic threatening on her record, because she cannot be around children with that, according to the state of Kentucky. So if she can decide to do it with a lower IQ, so can he. I miss me with the bullshit, miss me with the autism, miss me with the low IQ, miss me with the coercion. He chose to do it, period. That's it. Hey, Sarah. So the reason I'm on here yet again, for those who are late, is there's a live that was going on, is going on, whatever, talking about trying to get Gypsy to stay out of bars and putting up posters and wasting money and taking money from an establishment. And they want to dress up like Barney in order to do it. And I think that is extremely disrespectful to Dee Dee. Period. And so I decided to make a video on Ryan Lee TM. There's a video that I put up, and then I decided to go live on top of it because I felt like more needed to be talked about. than just making a video. I made a video, it was like 2 minutes long, but that was not going to put everything I needed to be put out there, in my opinion. It's not okay. You know, everybody keeps saying, you know, justice for Dee Dee, but then you're going to dress up like something at her crime scene. Why? For what? What attention are you bringing other than negative? You're not bringing positive for any stretch of the imagination. Right. And here's the deal. This is what people are not understanding. If you show up to an establishment with flyers trying to persuade people to not go into the establishment, that is hard, that you're going to get arrested for disturbing the peace in front of an establishment. If you go to these locations where Lifetime is filming, you can have the cops called on you. What are you doing? Are you really ready to have a record over this shit? Are you really ready to go to jail or pay bail or pay bond for this shit?
I do
for
have
what?
a feeling that most of them would do that. They're putting their own freedom at risk to try to get her thrown back in jail. Like, are you serious? Are you so for real? Like, you're risking your own freedom doing all this crap to try to put her back in jail?
You're wasting your money, you're wasting your time, you're wasting your resources. And then on top of that, even if you don't go to jail, they can still, you can still get arrested and let go. You can still have a strict talking to. You can still put yourself at risk for those things. For what reason? I don't understand. What is the point? What is the end goal? That's what I want to know. In the end, what is the end goal? What are you going to do? If you, okay, let's say she,
is to have Gypsy put back in prison.
Right, but
that's their goal.
But what's the end goal of not letting her go to a bar? What's the end goal? What's the end goal of handing out flyers on Bourbon Street so that she doesn't go to a bar? What is the end goal? That she doesn't go to the bar? That you ruin a business's income? Because it's not going to just it's not just going to dissuade Gypsy. It's going to dissuade other people that don't want to be around that type of person. So it may take 5 people away, 10 people away, 15 people away. And if each of those people was going to spend $50, now you are taking $200, $300, $400 away from an establishment. That is not okay. When you are trying to fuck with people's money, it is not okay. I'm sorry. This is bordering on obsession. It's bordering on.
They don't want her to have any sort of, like, they keep saying, get off social media and live a private life, but they don't want her to have a normal life. They want to make every day of her life miserable because they think that's what she deserves. And they are going to do anything to try to do that.
Yeah, I mean, look, I do not like Gypsy in any way, shape, or form, again, for my own personal issues. But what I'm not going to do is go pass out flyers, dress up in a Barney outfit. I'm not going to spend copious amounts of time on a live degrading her appearance or doing whatever, because what is the point? What is the end game? In the end, she's not going to go back to jail. She's not. Okay, she's not. So what is it you're looking for? What is your end game? I mean, honestly, at this point, it's just mean girl behavior. And this is not because I'm pro-Gypsy. I'm anti-Gypsy. I'm very anti-Gypsy, but I'm also very pro the fact of, I know what it's like to have the internet against you. I know what it's like to have people put out lies about you. I know what it's like to have videos made about you. I know what it's like to have lives about you. And I had it happen on a smaller scale than she does. And regardless of the fact that she is a garbage human being, I'm sorry for the friends of hers in the chat. She is a garbage human being who took a life, in my opinion. But that does not mean that that person should be tortured to the point of where they may take their life. Because in the end, all life is sacred, all of it. And I would not be a correct person to sit here and say, you know, I'm pro Dee Dee and I'm pro life, and then say, you know what, by the way, you can still bully somebody into an early grave. I don't think that's okay, because all it's going to take is one comment, one situation that's going to be the creme de la creme, the cherry on top, and then who and what are we going to have to blame? I'm guilty of what I've done. I'm guilty of what I've said. I'm guilty of having the opinions I have. But what you're not going to hear me do, what you're not going to hear me say is to get on here and take and poke fun at her appearance that she has no control over. I'm not going to get on here and try to make her life absolutely miserable and stop her from living her day-to-day life. I can have my own opinions. I can think she's a garbage human being. I can think that she did not get this jail sentence she should have gotten. But at the same time, I'm also not going to bully somebody into an early grave. She does have a child. She does have people who love and care about her. And regardless of the fact that in my eyes, she is a garbage human being, that does not make her life any less sacred.
Exactly. And something else that's very funny to me is, she hashtagged a bunch of different creators who have been harassing her and harassing places that she goes and making fun of her looks, saying she's redacted and that's her medical condition. She has a medical condition. Are you really gonna keep going with that shit? But anyways, so she hashtagged these creators in her post and said, "Kiss my ass," pretty much.
Right.
People are having a conniption about that. Gypsy's bullying and harassing them because she hashtagged their name in her post and they want their name removed. As if they don't all hashtag her name in every video that they post. Like, she's not allowed to say something to you? What do you mean?
I'm on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube in case if for some reason this goes down. I'm on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube. Please follow me there. I see a lot of people.
Erica, they act like she can't respond to
right.
the things that they say to her.
If you're poked at enough, eventually you're going to poke back. And more than that, if you're going to hashtag her name everywhere, you can't be mad that she's going to hashtag yours. Right. I do think that they push her. I do think that they push her.
I would have hashtagged them all a long time ago and told them to kiss my ass. So the fact that she held off this long and put up with all the crap for this long before she finally responded to, hashtagging that, she didn't even tag them. She hashtagged them.
I don't agree with anything Gypsy's ever said or done. I don't agree with her in general, but I also know, again, all life is sacred. And I would hate to see someone lose their life, lose their parent. In the end, she does have a daughter. And in the end, that daughter will not have her mother if something goes completely wrong. And then that child lost her mother for what reason?
Anyway, so they don't care about that.
Oh, I know. I just, at this point, it's too out of control, and to go after somebody for their looks. If you can't fix it in 5 minutes, shut the fuck up. Calling me fat, I could lose weight. I don't, because I have a fucking condition and I'm lazy and I eat stupid. Okay. But calling me fat, what is your end game? Fucking with my teeth? Oh, my teeth are fucked up. You pay my dental care then. If you can't fix it in 5 minutes, if you can't run a brush through your hair, Toddy, in 5 minutes, you can talk about that. But what you can't talk about is an eye that is turned inward. She can't fix that, bro. She can't fix it. She's fixed her teeth. She's fixed her nose, but she can't fix her fucking eyeballs. And you're going to make fun of her fucking eyeballs? Come on now.
She had eye surgeries to correct it and it didn't work. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, why do they have to keep making fun of her for that? Like, that's a condition. That's a medical condition that she has. And what's that got to do with justice for anybody?
No, I don't understand. When all this stuff happened with me and the bullying, and we would always say, what is their end game? What is their end game? What is their end game? What is the end game? What is the end game here? Because she's not going to go to jail. She's not going to go to prison. What is the end game? What, making her miserable? You know what you're doing in the meantime? She's living rent-free in your head. She's living rent-free in your head. You are then miserable. So by making her miserable, you're miserable as well. What is the point? You're letting her live in your head rent free.
Yeah, and they really are, especially whenever you see them turn on a video of hers, and in the first like 3 seconds, they're like, "Oh, this is so oh, what the?" Then turn it off. Like, what are you doing? Don't watch it then. Like, I don't understand.
I think that let's see. Okay, somebody just yelled at me. Then stop talking about her. You've been talking about her since. Yeah. Did you not hear in this? Did you not hear in the situation that I myself have also done things? Did you not hear that in there? Did you not open your ears enough to say? But the difference is you can talk about having an opinion. You can talk about what you think about a person without bullying them to the point of taking their life, without fucking with somebody's mental health to such a point that I will tell you this right now, y'all. There were days I couldn't even function. Okay. There were days I couldn't even function, and I'd get on here and you wouldn't see that. You wouldn't see that. And I'm sure there's days she can't function and she gets on a live or she gets wherever. And you don't see that because one thing you do as a content creator, as a person, as whatever, nay. One thing you do as a person is you block that shit down. You don't let people know that they're getting to you, but they are. And there's no reason why people are going to this level, why people are trying to interfere with people's daily lives. I can sit here and say, as an opinion, she is a garbage human being. She did a garbage thing. That is an opinion that I have on a situation. But what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to talk about how she looks. I'm not going to try to stop her from going to different places. I'm not going to do any of that.
You mean you're not going to spend your every waking second trying to find out what Gypsy's doing so you can interfere with it and make sure that she has a bad time while doing it? Like, how is that living your life? Like, what? You're telling other people to get a life, but that's what you're doing with yours, is following Gypsy to every place she goes so that you can make complaints to those businesses or make fun of her for going, or, you know, like, what are you doing with your life then?
What bothers me in all of this is people are so tunnel vision on a Gypsy, they don't see everybody else they're affecting. This is where I'm at, because I, again, think Gypsy's a garbage human being. Sorry to people in the chat. But when they are going after Gypsy, they are rippling out and they are affecting other people. When they're calling establishments, when Starlight and Morbid called the establishment she went to and made the hostess cry, they were affecting the hostess. They were affecting the manager of that job. They were affecting the crew of that job. They were affecting the money inflow to that job. They were pushing people away from that business. They were pushing people away from going to that establishment. They are affecting more than just Gypsy. When you are talking about putting on a Barney outfit to get back at her, you are thumbing your nose at Dee Dee. When you are talking about we're going to put posters up so she doesn't go into bars, you are taking business away from those establishments. You are doing more than just affecting Gypsy. That is the problem.
Yeah, they say that those prank calls aren't harassment, and that hang on, I lost my train of thought.
They say they're not harassment, but they are, because they're harassing the businesses that they are at. This is not just about Gypsy at this point.
Businesses are used to those. That's part of your job, is getting prank calls. Apparently, places are used to that. That's part of being at a job. You get prank calls from people that pretend that they were in your establishment and are complaining about other people who come into your establishment. Like, that's not prank calls my ass.
Let's see. Thank you, Chrissy. I'm not going to talk about the hair thing. I have very split ideas on that. I'll just say this. The person who waited on her was wrong. They should have never checked her out. They should have never allowed her to check out. At the same time, there was a sign on the door saying licensed professionals only. I believe that both of them were at fault. No more one than the other. She shouldn't have been in there. She shouldn't have thought that she was entitled enough to go in there. And the person who did it should have taken her job seriously and not allowed her to check out. That's where I'm at on that.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. Is like, yeah, they were both in the wrong, yes, but the cashier, she knew the rules of her job and she knew the guidelines for her business or whatever, and she should have addressed it as soon as not I'll let it slide this one time. So both were wrong.
Yeah.
But I mean, as the worker, and you have to follow the rules to keep your job, kind of stuff.
Yes, I agree, Sherry. Yes, absolutely. I feel the same way. She should have never felt entitled enough to go in there with a sign on the door saying licensed professionals only. But in the end, she was able to check out because someone did not do their job correctly.
Exactly.
So it's twofold.
Yeah,
she never should have went in there, but she never should have been checked out. So
both were wrong.
Yeah, well, even then, Sarah, it was brought to her attention that she should not have been in there. It was brought to her attention, and she still was there. And that cashier, in the end, should have never checked her out. In the end. So, and the reason why hairstylists are upset is they spend a lot of money. They spend 1,500 hours. They spend thousands of dollars getting their cosmetology license. And this particular store only sells to licensed professionals. And if I spent 1,500 hours and thousands of dollars to do something, and Joe Schmo off the street came in and was able to buy things that can cause chemical burns, I would be very upset as well. But again, that also falls on the establishment. So I'm on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube, by the way, if you want to watch this from the beginning.
And also another thing that just is really ridiculous is what the heck does proving if Ken is bi or not have anything to do with their justice for DD crap? Like what does that have to do with anything?
Do not get me started on this.
That's weird as hell to me.
Do not get me started on this.
What does that have to do with anything?
Sarah, number one, you're missing the point. You are focusing on a point that does not matter. The point is, yes, they did that to be able to wait on people. Yes, they did that to be able to have a job. But part of that is perks of where you can go and what you can do with your license. And I can tell you as a person, if that was me, that would frustrate me greatly. No, they did not decide to do thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours just to get into a store. And to suggest that tells me that you are, number one, not capable of listening, but number two, not capable of having intelligent thought process. And as for, here's my deal as a person who is in the community. What Cowboy did was wrong. He should have never brought up Ken. Whether Ken is, whether Ken isn't, what you don't do, rule number one of the community, and Cowboy should know this 1,000%, is you don't out somebody. And if it was real, and if Ken was with this man, before Gypsy, mind you, that's between him and Gypsy. And when Gypsy decided not to talk to Cowboy, it should have been dead, done, and over. What number one rule in the LGBT community is you do not out somebody. Number one, hands down, you don't do it. It's a rule of code, it's a rule of ethics, and it's a rule of morals. You do not out other members. It's not illegal. It's not illegal. No, it's not illegal. It is breaking a code. There is a code. It's like Fight Club. You don't talk about Fight Club, okay? You don't out other people in the LGBTQ community. Whether or not it's true or not, accurate or not, whether he is or not, does not matter. The point was Cowboy set off to out him. True or not. That is not acceptable.
Yeah, that whole thing is just weird to me. I can't understand, because like, what do you mean you were worried for the baby's safety? Like, you're saying that whatever happened with you and him was like 4 years ago. What the hell does that have to do with the baby's safety now?
Exactly.
Like,
And what safety is there to be had?
Say you gave him something? Like, I don't get it. I don't understand.
Right. What safety is there to be had? I'm talking about Cowboy said that he reached out to Gypsy to begin with, and she didn't respond to Cowboy. So Cowboy then took it into a comment thread. He said that the whole reason he did what he did is he reached out to Gypsy and she didn't reply. So he took it to a comment thread to get her attention. She does not have to reply. First of all, if somebody came to me and said that, I would read it and move on. I would maybe he is. And you know what? If he is, that's his business. That's his and Gypsy's business. It's nobody's business other than the people in the relationship. And by the way, to insinuate that there is a safety issue because he may be in the LGBTQ community, what does that say about Cowboy and how he feels about his community? To say that there is a safety point with LGBTQ.
Yeah, it's weird. It's weird. Yeah, Chris, those lives were weird where he had Ken dressed up in the pink outfits and cowboy hats and shit. That was weird.
And why would you do that again as a member of the LGBTQ community? Why would you do that? Again. I don't understand why, as a person in the community, what I would not do is dress somebody up in pink clothes and feminize somebody and put them down into stereotypical bullshit.
Yep. And they all say that like they're not being, homophobic or whatever, but they're literally trying to make fun of Ken for being, if he is. Like, what do you mean you're not being like that? Like, that's weird. That's weird.
It's just another thing to pick at. It's just another nail in the thing, I just think it's ridiculous. If you want to be on the anti-gypsy train, as a lot of us are, then be on the anti-gypsy train. Why are you being on the anti-Ken train? What was the point there? What's the point there? I don't understand that. What is the point of being anti-Ken? He's not the one who did the crime. I don't understand that.
I feel like they're trying to insinuate that men who get with Gypsy are going to be manipulated to do what Nick did for her. Like, I feel like they're trying to say that any man that she's with is going to do that for her. Like, they're trying to say that, like, I don't know. It's weird.
It's anti-red body fluid money. That's a very descriptive way to put it. Okay, but again, what it boils down to is she does not have ability to control men. In the end, a man is going to decide to do what a man is going to decide to do. It is his own free will. I can go up to somebody as much as I want and be like, can you do this? 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 They're going to do it if they want to, and they're not if they don't. She's not Jim Jones.
Exactly.
You can't make people do things that they don't want to do.
Correct.
Right. Okay. That's something that was very frustrating. You don't expose someone's methadone use. Absolutely. I don't think that was right. But what another thing is that I talked about at the beginning of this is I don't think it's also right to call somebody who takes methadone a drug user, because they're trying to get away from the harder substance to then go on and say that, well, they're on methadone, they're on drugs, they're on this, they're on that. I don't think that's right either. Gypsy had no right to out anything of Ryan's 1,000%. I believe that a lot of this stuff should have been kept off of and taken off of social media 1,000%. But if we're going to bring up methadone use, then you're going to need to bring up the fact that I don't think it's okay that I heard on a live that people who are on methadone are active drug users because they're trying to get away from other drugs. I don't think that's okay. They're in recovery trying to fix the situation. albeit they are taking another drug, but it's a more helpful drug, I guess, if you want to put it that way. By no situation am I sitting here giving Gypsy a free pass for the things that she's done to Ryan or anything like that. She has done more than enough bad things. As I've said, as I've reiterated throughout this live the entire time, she is not getting a free pass on anything. And I still think she's a garbage human being. Right, but we don't know who's abusing it and who isn't. That's my problem. Just because you don't like somebody, you don't get to immediately assume they're abusing it. Okay, so when I first got on Adderall, there was a rumor going around that I was abusing it because they didn't like me. And the actuality was I took a bottle and a half, not even a bottle and a half, didn't even take it on time, but because they didn't like me, suddenly I was abusing it. Right, but somebody else is, and you know this. Somebody else went on a live today and insinuated that somebody was a drug user and abusing it. And that's not okay. It's not. When people are trying to get clean, they have to get clean the way that is applicable to them. I mean, would I necessarily want to take would I want to replace a drug with another drug? No. But I can't say what I would do in that position. And I sure as hell can't say what that person should do in that position either. Okay, but people can have stupid behavior and not be on drugs. Let's be real. And you know that. People can have all types of crazy behavior and not be on drugs.
Yeah, people can seem like they are and they aren't.
Right. You can act like you are and not even be on it. And then there's people who function completely. That's why they call them, day alcoholics, working alcoholics. And it's all right, Crystal. I'm on Ryan Lee TM. If I get kicked, I get kicked.
Some people who've been through addiction, they still, even after they recover, they still have some of the tendencies. They still have some of their, I don't know how to explain. I don't know.
I get what you're saying. If you're exhibiting addict behavior and you're in recovery, then are you in recovery? Yes and no, because an addiction is an addiction regardless of what it is you're addicted to. And that's not exactly showing addict recovery. But at the same time, beating addiction is a process, and nobody is perfect in their addiction. I would slip. When I had my particular issues, I would slip. It's not a cut and dry one and done process. You slip, you regress, you do things, you cover things, you end up getting addicted with other substances. Addiction behavior is addiction behavior, but to say someone is abusing a drug just because they're on it is not accurate or okay, in my opinion.
Agreed.
That's just where I'm going with that, I guess. Hello. Yes, I've heard that. Yes, Erica, I've heard that a lot. That's a lot of the problem is a lot of people get addicted after pain, after a knee surgery, a hip surgery, gastric bypass. You get addicted to the pain which, by the way, I'm sorry, I don't agree that that's an addiction. I just don't. You guys can blame me, put me over coals, whatever you want. If I'm in pain and I'm taking a pill to stop my pain, I don't feel like that's an addiction thing. I'm sorry, I just don't. But that happens with a lot of things. A lot of people just don't pick up a thing and just decide that they're going to be addicted. Do I think addiction's a disease? No, I do not. Break me over coals for that. As a person who was addicted to something, I don't feel like it's a disease. I do feel like it's at the beginning, it's a choice, and it's a choice that takes over. There wasn't a thing in me that was like, oh, you must start doing this. And then I started doing it. I made a choice. I started with a behavior that was not good for me. I continued with that choice for 10 years. And then I broke that choice and I stopped. I did regress. There was times I had regressed. There was times that I had relapsed. And then I got better. I do not believe addiction is a disease. I don't. I believe it's a conscious choice you make that then takes you over. You can believe whatever you want to believe on that. That is my particular opinion. I think that people love people who are addicted, need to say it's a disease to try to understand it. And that's possible. Am I teaming up with Fancy again? Not currently. No, I'm not. She's not on the live right now. Addiction's it's a very whatever topic.
Fancy.
It's a very, it's a topic that is people have very strong opinions on. And I don't fault anybody who thinks it's a disease. I just personally don't. I believe it's a choice that then becomes over consuming as a person who had an addiction for 10 years. So I feel like I can speak on it to a point. Why am I fuzzy? There we go. I'm not just speaking out my ass. So that's just my view. And I'm not judging anybody for making that choice. I made a choice. I made a choice to decide that I was going to do something to myself and my body. And then I decided that I was going to fix it. And I did. It's a choice at first, but then it becomes all consuming. It was very consuming. It consumed me for 10 years. I still think about it to this day, and it's been 30 years. It doesn't go away. It's whether or not you act on it again. So, I mean, that's just my view. That doesn't make my view right, wrong, or sideways. That's just my particular view. Thank you. I'm not going to judge somebody. I had a friend once that she looked down her nose at a person who took, what was it? Vicodin? She had a problem with somebody who took Vicodin, but she drank 10 beers a night. An addiction is an addiction is an addiction. And I don't really see where anybody who has an addiction can look down their nose on somebody else's addiction and put a rank on it as to how effective that particular addiction is. You can't sit there and pop 10 beers a night and then look down your nose at somebody who takes Vicodin. I just don't think that's okay. My addiction was a little bit abnormal. It wasn't the same as a lot of people's, but it doesn't mean I'm going to look down my nose at anybody who has a different one than me. Right, Urker. But anyway, I said what I had to say. If you enjoyed this live, it's on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube, and you can start it from the beginning. Give me a follow there. I said what I said. I'm sure I started up a can of worms, but I feel very passionately on this particular subject that I just think being disrespectful to Dee Dee, to thumb your nose at Gypsy, is not going to solve anything. I don't know why my dogs are barking, but I should probably check. So, I mean, that's the best I can say. So if you enjoyed the live or want to watch it from the beginning, it's on Ryan Lee TM on YouTube. Give me a follow. But I have been talking on this for an hour and 18 minutes. So I'm going to go probably watch some Dawson's Creek now. So whatever you want to think about the situation, whatever you want to think about me, feel free to do it. We all have opinions. They're like assholes. Everybody's got one. I'm a peace out, y'all. I'm a peace out. Thanks for popping up. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me up, Ryan.
See ya. Bye. All right, y'all. I don't really have a whole lot more else to say, to be honest. I said what I had to say, and I'm sure I ruffled some feathers. I'm sure that I probably upset some people with what I had to say or what I had to think. But these are my opinions and my opinions only. It doesn't make them right, wrong, or sideways. It's just what I think, and it's just very frustrating to me to watch some of these things unfold the way they have, the way they are, and the way that they will be doing. So I hope you guys enjoyed the live, and I will catch you soon.